Hey guys, here's the gear for today. Going to keep going with this same huge Badger brush, a 2-band Badger from Thader. And I think it's the size 6, 4125 I think is the model number, and then 6 is the size. The details are in the description of the video. I have been soaking it, so it should be ready to go. 20-minute soak, something like that. Get those tips as soft as they'll get. The razor is something familiar. It's the timeless Open Comb 68 gap stainless steel razor that I so often lately am using with my Gillette Nacet blade that has 533 uses on it. Show you the little identifying marks, reflection there if it can catch the right way, the etching that I did on it, and then the bend in the blade right there on the corner. And Smoking Bishop is the soap for today. We are getting into where it's not quite as blazing hot as it has been all summer here in North Carolina, and that's a very welcome change. And so that's why I chose Smoking Bishop, because I am looking at the Barrister and Mann Omnibus base in terms of how it works with the slurry lather technique, because Barrister and Mann is a terrific artisan. He's so creative in his scents. There's so many unique. He doesn't do clone type scents. He may do an homage to something, especially something that's long discontinued, like his Barrister's Reserve line did that. But so many of his things are totally unique, and his performance is always just terrific. I did like the glissant base a little better than the Soft Heart, for instance. That was a short-lived base because people like the performance, but a lot of the soap got picked up really easily with your brush, and so it wouldn't last as long. And that's why Will didn't put it into his main lineup until he modified the Soft Heart base, and he put that modification in his lineup because then that didn't get used up as quickly, and so it was a better value for his customers. But I guess he kept working on things, because that modified Soft Heart base wasn't live for too long before he came out with Omnibus. I don't think Omnibus is just a renaming of the modified Soft Heart, but I could be wrong. I think that would have been discussed and I would have seen it if that was true, but I may have missed it. Oh, and by the way, we're kind of monochromatic today. My shirt is the same color roughly as my wall color. Smoking Bishop is not named after a church official who is smoking or pipe. It is in the UK, I believe it is a mulled drink, especially popular in the colder climates, the holidays. And you can smell that. For a full description of the scent, you can look in the video description. We did 50 swirls with this big brush on the War soap, which is Omnibus, same base here, and that wasn't enough. So let's make sure we do more than that here on this one, because this hasn't been used in a while either. Get my face wet. Hey, before my hands get too saturated with water and products, I want to show you a little hack I just figured out earlier today. It's no big surprise that blades stick to magnets. Some people mount magnets on their wall or on their mirror. You know, there's some magnets that have a sticky back and you can put that on your mirror. Well, guess what? I happen to have a few of these clip magnets around. They sell them at the Dollar Tree and, any of the big box stores. And I had them for a specific purpose. This one's not very strong. It's a very thin magnet right here, but it's strong enough to hold, as you can see, 3 blades. And here's the key. I've got this mirror that's kind of floating right here in front of me. It's got 2 supports and it pivots. And so there's the whole big edge of the mirror glass is available for a clip. And so I can clip that to the mirror and then I can put any of my blades on there. And so with the shape of my particular mirror, the size of it, I could have 15 of these little clips all around it to hold my blades. And of course it's tall, out of the reach of small children. And so I originally had this to work as a wire guide and to hold to-do notes and things like that elsewhere in my house. But then I'd been looking at it sitting around because I didn't need it anymore for that purpose. And then all of a sudden I thought I could put some magnets right here. But I can't put any magnets right here because of the way this mirror is hanging out in the middle of the air here. And so all of a sudden I had used a clothespin to put an index card that was talking about some shave information that I wanted to share with you guys. And so that was clipped here on the glass. And I thought, wait, I'll get a clip, and I'll get a clip with a magnet. And I had it at my desk, and bam, now my blades are going to be separated off of the counter of the bathroom so that they do not get wet, that kind of thing. And of course, so that I don't have to gather them all up when my kids come around or somebody else's kids come around. So obviously a clip like that you can clip to whatever you want. A lamp fixture, a cord hanging somewhere, anything that it'll clip to. Now you've got a place where you can safely store your blades, especially if you're a person like me that might go back and forth between a couple different blades instead of just using one up until it's gone. So there's a little moment there. 50 swirls. I switched to counting swirls with this slurry lather method because my counting of seconds got to be so minimal that it was no longer effective, because I was just swirling for, you saw me if you watched, I did half a swirl, and that was enough to pick up enough soap at the time because I had used the same soap consecutively, and so it was easy to pick up soap. So I had to switch to counting swirls. Well, now we're pulling soaps that have been used in months, and so that means that the swirls, it's a little bit overkill, but I guarantee you, if I were to use this consecutively for a couple weeks, I'd be back to counting swirls. So just for the sake of this slurry lather experimentation, I'm going to keep counting swirls, but I'll just count them by tens. So this thing holds a lot of water. As you can see, still going. We'll see what happens today. I do have my lather bowl here, not to act as a lather bowl, but just to hold the brush between uses, to hold any water that might drip out, or the suds that might overflow out of here, something like that. All right, so 50, bump it up, 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As you could see, we were starting to get some blubs of soap. I got that last time, and I did technically have enough soap, but I just wanted to make sure. Cut my finger right on the knuckle there. I put some super glue on it, so hopefully in a few days it'll be all healed up. Oh yeah. Oh, that smells so good. What a great fall scent. Holidays as well. So I did take a break. Not using my Nacet for a while there. Going to get back to it because I need to get it up to maybe 550 uses. 555 uses because I want to ship it off and have the edge microscoped to get back some images because I'm super curious. And my friend Jeep is or Greg, crap, both of those guys. I wish I had a picture of both of them so that I can, it'll help my brain. Greg, it's Greg. Greg Gallant is, I'm working with him about the microscope and all that stuff. He's going to take the images for me. Looking forward to that. All right. Well, in the internet, you know, when you're dealing with people in usernames, it's sometimes hard to put usernames with memories because I'm a visual person by far. And so if I don't have a photo, a mental image of a picture, then I don't, it's harder to associate the right things. I think he's done a video though. I know Jeep's done a video. Maybe I need to find that and try to use that to help my memory. All right. So there I go talking again. And one of the things about the slurry lather method is that you can, right from the loading process, you can go right to your face. I've not done that. But fortunately, we don't have a lot of stuff that is leaked into the bowl, so I haven't lost much of what was in the brush. Now, with these two-band badgers and their ability to have more backbone, I've noticed a very interesting little phenomenon. When I'm doing my rotation right here in a circular pattern, a little stream will just steadily on every rotation, whichever way I naturally go, a little stream will just shoot out. And the hairs just must be flicking in the same place each time. It's kind of funny. It doesn't do it on my boar brushes or my synthetic, I don't think. Anyway, so we hopefully have enough water and enough soap this time. Now I think it's a little bit of a misinformation to think that you need more soap. You need a little more soap if you have a bigger brush. Because after all, you're using the same amount of lather. Now look right here. What can we tell? We don't really have a slurry forming. This is kind of a very light paste. It's still quite hydrated, but it's not slurry hydrated. So I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to go and get a little water, dribble some drips from my sink. And there we go. See, we're going to hydrate it a little bit more. Do it again. There we go. We just need to make sure that water is there. And now we have what looks, it's still a little thin and pasty instead of slurry-like, but that's okay. The point is to have a good shave. The point is to have a very slick layer and not necessarily achieve some kind of exact slurry. This is something I'm learning, though, as we work with this larger brush. Did I let too much water leak out of it? Would have been hard to keep that much water in there, but maybe that's just the nature of the beast. All right, 1.5 days of growth. One of the nice things about switching to old blades and new blades is that you really enjoy those new ones that cut so smoothly and easily. Getting a light tugging with this one. It definitely prefers 1 day of growth instead of 2, or even 1.5 is not too bad. And that's kind of what I have now. Not focusing on repeating certain areas, you know, to get a closer shave. I'm going to let the other passes do that. A little splash of water. Continue on with the slurry. Now I dribbled water in the brush in that first pass. But also what I've done in the past is if I have a mug or something, you can dip the tips. Then you really get a good bit of water in your brush. Let's see what we have now. Yeah, there's still some good hydration in there. You can just kind of probably see that. And again, now in true slurry fashion, I don't have to keep maturing this. I can just pause because after all, this method is primarily made for guys who are a little short on time. Or just need to get their shave done quickly, or just want to because they have just whatever reason they have. It's not cutting super easily, but that's okay. it's still shavable if it's a reasonable amount of time that it takes. And if the passes are that quick, see, I don't mind doing 5 passes. Besides, 5 passes with a scent that you really like, with a brush that you enjoy. It's kind of like saying, I'm sorry, you don't get one ice cream sundae, you have to eat 2 of them. Oh no. There we go. Cross grain again. Oh yeah, and I can easily tell that I'm reducing the stubble because I'm just getting less audio, less resistance. And you can see the lather just kind of dripping off of me. That's echoing and kind of giving proof to just the hydration, the excellent super slickness we have here. A little splash of water. Yeah, and there's that terrific slickness. The water, the little bit that you add to your face just wakes up that kind of thin layer of soap that's on your face. And oh, wow, it's just crazy speed slick, and it protects you. Third pass. So that was 70 swirls in the soap. 4th pass now, and you can see, I mean, I'm doing 4-pass shave and it's just 17 minutes into the video, and that's with me talking, giving you my little mirror clip tip as well. So that's why I say I don't mind 5 passes if need be, if they're this fast. I could probably do just 3 passes if I wanted to, if I repeated and went over certain areas, you know, in effect. Kind of doing just the same thing, just making them each pass take a little bit longer. But I kind of prefer shorter, fast passes rather than, or more fast passes rather than fewer passes, but each pass taking a touch longer. Maybe it's my personality. Maybe it's the way the brush works on my face and the razor moves so easily. You know, I think you're probably less prone to irritation if you do that. That's an interesting point. Thought just occurred to me. Because, see, you're not repeat shaving in areas over and over, so there's less risk of that irritation. With shorter passes and just kind of covering an area just once, maybe twice, you're getting rid of the lather, you wash it away, bam, you throw on your next pass of lather, and a quick, I think you're taking the amount of razor movement on your face and you're just making sure there's more lather involved in that. And that's probably a good thing, good for your, you know, potential irritation. This brush is very dense, and so it does take some effort to kind of keep it in splay. We are starting to get more of a mature lather toward the end here. This is 5 passes. We'll squeeze out what's in the brush and see what remains. But I think this is a very successful slurry lather experience. It did take adding just a touch more water to the brush, but I kind of had to do that with the horse and some brushes. You know, I think that's something you're going to have to just constantly evaluate as you work. And then eventually, if you use the same equipment over and over, you'll get a feel for how much water to leave in the brush. It's a real easy thing to just dip some tips and keep on going, right? Got to make sure have tons of water available to the brush for that slurry, and then eventually it will become a nice lather on your 3rd, 4th, or 5th pass. And there we go. How's my result? I'm going to give myself a rinse. I'm going to take a look, make sure that the type of shave I'm getting is, in terms of this blade, is adequate. If it's not cutting me properly, if it's leaving big patches that are visible, where my personal standard for this blade is I'm going to stop using it if it takes too many passes to get a shave that is right and close. And if it stops giving me that closeness that is reasonable, meaning that maybe if a person is 3 feet from me, if they look at me clean shaven with this blade and it doesn't look like a good shave, if there are patches or it just looks, it just doesn't quite look right, then that's when it's time to stop. That's when it's no longer an effective test. I mean, because I think I could probably keep shaving with this thing for forever and just have substandard shaves. Maybe. I mean, eventually, surely it won't work, right? But I think it's a non-practical situation if this blade, if I'm using it and I am cutting hairs some way, it's not really a real shaving scenario anymore, is it? I'm not really using the blade. It's just that I'm using it, but it's not what I need for my daily requirement of looking nice because I'm having to shave, and that's kind of my standard here. Haven't flipped the blade yet. I'm still all on one side. So if I can shave on a blade, on the one side of the blade for 534 times now, minus one, because there was one time a few hundred uses ago where I accidentally flipped it. If I can do that with that many times, then is it really all that important to flip your blade on any kind of religious schedule? Normally I don't. This is the only blade I've ever done that with, where I am only shaving with it on one side, because I thought, hey, why not? When I first started with this blade, usually I just randomly pick up the blade, and however it goes in the razor, that's the way it goes. All right, good rinse now. So yes, that was a very nice, comfy shave. I still felt that nice feeling slickness on my face. And the shave is still acceptable. During the austere August, I used this blade the whole time, but I was just doing 3 passes because I was most of the time needing to be fast, and I didn't check the quality quite as much. I figured it'd be fine, and it's good to look at it now after the fact and say that, yeah, the blade's still delivering a quality shave in 5 passes. And to be honest, I might not even mind 6 passes if they're fast. If I can get the shave done in 20 minutes, I mean, I think that's reasonable. So terrific smell here. You definitely get that mulled sweetness, like some fruits have been mulled in a wine or something like that. That's the vibe I'm getting right now. And like I said, my first initial impressions of the scent are going to be in the description of the video as well. We can put another dot on the card here for the Nacet blade. I definitely have some other soap bases to test, but this has gone well with the Omnibus base here for Barrister and Mann. And I think I'm going to keep using it because I want to get that load time down to something reasonable. 70 is what I did this time, I think. And also, I'm going to use this base with a normal size brush because that makes a big difference. How did this brush do? That 70 swirl load. What amount of soap did I put in the brush? Was that overloading? Let's see. I just did 5 passes of lather, and as you saw, it wasn't thick and creamy. They were just nice, slick, highly slick passes that were very hydrated, but you could tell not a lot of soap was needed to make those passes. What's left in the brush? Still, I don't know if you're seeing this, but a lot of water is coming out. So the brush had more water to give. It was just elsewhere in the knot, okay? So as we keep squeezing the lather that was left in the brush, and that would have made a terrific fifth pass and fourth pass, I could have done that. And so I didn't overload the soap in a sense, like a lot of guys that will use 2 grams of soap per shave. But there was still enough nice, slick, wet lather in there for a couple more passes. So very good. So that 70 seconds wasn't really an overload, because what's left here is kind of is very wet. But I could have loaded less if I would have squeezed out the lather after like the 3rd pass or the 4th pass, that kind of a thing. And so that's good to know. However, during the shave, I appreciated how much I had loaded. So what'll I do next time? What I might do is maybe do the same amount, maybe a touch less, maybe 60, because we are leaving in this soap a little bit of moisture. Make it a little bit easier to pick up soap next time. And so what I may do is either keep the number the same. That's what I might do. And we'll see what we're given. And because it's good to stabilize and get to kind of a reasonable number. And I'm also accumulating a table of, I want to give people good guesses as to how much they should load if they're trying the slurry lather, just as a ballpark. And then once you do the slurry lather, you can look at what's left in your brush or on your face or whatever, and then make your adjustments from there. But I thought I'd give people a ballpark starting point. Nothing like precision at all where I'm trying to recommend exactly how much, just a ballpark, so that if a person doesn't have very much experience, that they're not doing a 15 swirl when they need to be doing a 50 swirl, that kind of thing. And at that point, I'd probably count seconds, that kind of thing, instead of swirls. On the other hand, swirls are easier to do in a practical situation because you don't have to worry about seconds. I mean, and you have to think of, 1001, 1002, 1003. That's kind of more work than counting swirls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1. To me, it's a little easier to count swirls, actually. Okay, how about that? A little new thought. What for post-shave? Cade from L'Occitane, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's French. I may not be. Whoa, that just dripped right out. This has been around for some years. It may have gone bad. It has definitely changed consistency. How's the smell? Is it funky now? Has it lost its smell? Balms don't last forever. I think this one has broken down. So I'm going to pay attention to how it smells within the next hour, and see if it's going to be, if I need to throw it away. It doesn't feel bad on my face, it doesn't feel like it's gone bad. I pulled it out because I knew, hey, you need to be using this because it's not going to last forever. And looks like I was right. A little more right than I wanted to be. But this is rare / expensive last time I checked, and so I was not using it up because of that. Also, this knot is just so big. It even splays bigger than this. And my usual soak cup is this little jar that's used for yogurt in the grocery store. OUI brand yogurt, OUI. And for many, many brushes, even this one's a 28 millimeter, it soaks, it's very nice. It's a good size. And then of course for smaller brushes, I like the way that the walls close in a little bit to keep the brush a little bit more vertical. With a straight wall cup, and it's tilting more, and then one side doesn't quite get as much water, and so I like it a lot for that, and I've used it for years, and I just haven't really found any better, and I'm really glad I was able to repurpose it instead of just throwing it away. However, this guy feels really cramped in there, and so this time, and I think it worked pretty well, I used this bowl, and I think the shape was nice because it's rounded, and so as this guy expanded when he was in the water, he stayed vertical while he was soaking. He didn't tip over like that. And so because the knot got bigger, he stayed vertical, and it was a great way to soak this particular brush. Gave him a good rinse out. Got to make sure you do a good job of that with big brushes like this, natural hair brushes like this. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. I look like a statue in a park. I appreciate all you guys, your comments, your advice. People bring in information that they've learned about things. People ask me questions and sometimes correct me when I've made a mistake, and I really appreciate that. Don't want to spread bad shaving information. And so thank you so much for what you guys do for me, and the fun, even just the friendly type, no information, just friendly interactions over the years. Take care now. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Bye.